what is it that a listener here can take away from saying, I know I'm going to have death. I know I'm going to have these events happen. How do I then counter that creation of a trauma that leads to cancer?
Yep. And that is a deep philosophical, spiritual kind of answer, because, when you look to nature, when you are in tune with nature, when you see cycles of life and death and reproduction, and you see kind of the circle of life, you don't fear death. You getting accustomed to, because we live in a very messed up world and messed up society in the way that we look at life and youth and death and beauty. And, and we have very twisted ideas about it. And I think that returning to nature, learning from nature, if you see, animals and you watch how nature operates and you get in tune with it, and that's where Dr. Hammer, there's this German new medicine is what he called his work for a long time. And more recently, before he passed, he shifted the name over to Germanische Heilkunde, the Germanic healing knowledge. Mm-hmm. And the Germanic doesn't just come from him being German, from Germany. It comes from like the ancient Germanic peoples, who like almost like the natives of Germania, that they lived in harmony with nature. They knew how nature functioned and how it operated. And it is the divorce from nature. So where do all of these, these traumas and these shocks and these conflicts, it's because we are not living in harmony with nature. We live very unnatural lives. And by getting back into some form of harmony with nature, in tune with seeing life cycles and death cycles, you are impacted differently. You see the world differently. You look at loss and you see the bigger picture. You don't get so sucked in and zoomed into, little petty problems and some of the issues that people are dealing with are truly, they're the loss of family and connection. And it's like, okay, so we need to restore the family. That's a big revelation I've been having lately, is just the importance of a firm foundation of family, and how so many, adverse childhood events that occur and experiences that people have start in childhood. Where were your parents? Why were you put into daycare? What's going on with society that we have such, broken families and children who are, not with their parents. And that, I think, is one of the biggest sources of sickness, of illness, of adaptation, because we're living such unnatural lives that when you look at it, it makes no sense. It's like in nature, this would never happen. It's only because of technology and modernity and the way, industrialization, the way that we operate in society, that's like the root of most of our problems.
Yeah, it's really awesome to hear you say that, because I really do have that stance that the further we get away from nature, the sicker we are. That's it. That's as simple as it gets. You want to get, healthier, just be more in nature, be more connected. You are part of nature. Let's be honest. We all say this, like, go into, you are nature. You're an animal, part of it, right? So even that idea of separation, like, let's be reconnected with, you never lost that connection. You're always there with nature. But it's funny, one of my favorite Instagram accounts to follow that I tell everyone to follow is this Instagram account, Nature is Metal. Have you ever heard of it?
I think I've probably seen a few posts from them. Yeah.
It's basically like the ugly side of nature, but it's the real side of nature, of like animals eating each other and rotting and all this stuff that you look at and go, oh my goodness, that happened all the time. And the animals don't go, oh, sorry, oh, that's gross. No. Or an animal eating another animal, and people be like, no. And listen, I've been there. I went on safari when I was young and watched a young gazelle being eaten alive by a pack of hyenas, and it was whimpering. And the tour guy, I remember I wanted to yell out and save this young gazelle. He goes, don't. He's like, you will kill those hyenas, and they have, this is life. This is nature. Stop living in your bubble that the cute, little fawn there has to, no, hyenas deserve to live also. This is the circle of life, and we just are so distant from it. And when you watch that account, it's like, yeah, nature is metal, gruesome. It's all, but that is nature. It's not like a good or bad.
Yes, exactly.
So it's whenever I try and explain what is healing, I just think it's it's nature doing what it does, and disease is just going away from that. So, but German new medicine, or as you say, Germanic healing knowledge is really like a scientific kind of explanation look at how we are disconnecting and how we are dealing with certain traumas.